Hey, no more. I mean, that one lost Notre Dame, they're not getting in this year.
I would never discount those guys. If they come back and win some big games in a big, bad way, because of their fan base, they are always right there on the bubble to be in, even when they're bad.
But what I like about this Cincinnati, it's the biggest win, so they claim, not me, in the history of their program. And I think that's pretty cool on a national audience, a real national audience, NBC, coast to coast. Good for them. At least they were there.
Yeah.
Well, they've done – look, the last few years, Fickle has done everything to make them a title contender. To be fair to J-Boy's point, I think it will be hard considering what they've built up over the last few years in terms of their record. Like, it will be hard. I know they say that doesn't get brought up into it, but, like, still you look at – like, they have built up a clout of how good they are.
Well, like you're saying, Wake Forest has no reputation whatsoever. Cincinnati's been building a resume for 3 to 5 years.
Yes. So, and I will agree with you, J-Boy, too. I think Notre Dame's out. I think that win against Wisconsin, now it doesn't look impressive at all because of how badly Michigan obliterated them. And I know the score was fairly lopsided for Notre Dame too, but it was a lot of like pick sixes and whatnot, and just turnovers at the end of the game. That game was a lot tighter than what that score, where Michigan legitimately just obliterated Wisconsin. So,
yeah.
And I will just want to touch on like what Lug said earlier. The most impressive team this weekend was Georgia, based purely on what Arkansas had done up to that point. They had eviscerated Texas, who besides Arkansas has looked fairly good. I know they won a tight game against TCU or K-State, my bad, K-State this weekend. And they also beat Texas A&M at one point at the time was a top 10 team. And for Georgia, without their starter, JT Daniels, to beat them 37-0, just shows you how Georgia is like with Alabama on a completely different level than pretty much the rest of the field.
Yeah.
So
Lugs, take it away on your Alabama, Georgia. Take it away, man.
I was just going to say,
your people.
I think for Georgia, it was the Bennett kid is better than JT Daniels for me, as far as that goes. But Alabama, until Nick Saban retires, I don't see them. I mean, they more than reload. I mean, it was crazy what they did to Ole Miss. It was kind of like they saw all the whatever football pundits saying, well, Ole Miss should be competitive. And they just said, okay, let's let the boys out of the basement that we keep on chains and just let them rip these guys up. And so they didn't feed them from Monday to Friday. They didn't feed them at all. So they're hungry out there. They want it. It was amazing to me.
And then Lane Kiffin didn't help himself at all, did he, with his –
Oh, what? Yeah. You don't – I mean, you can poke the bear all you want to, but that bear, it wasn't hibernating, Jack. It was ready to come out there and chew you up.
Amen.
I will at least give them this. Like, not that anyone's armchair quarterback, like when they were stopped on fourth down, like on their first two drives, to be fair to Missouri, they have to be true to who they are. That's what they are. That's the only way they're going to maybe compete with Alabama, is just always going for it. But yeah, like when they stopped them on those first two drives and just marched down the field and scored, like, yeah, you knew it was over. Like,
yeah, it was like, we're the big boys here. We're going to do it to you, and watch this. You're not going to be able to stop us.
Yeah, and my bad. Texas did play TCU this week. My bad. It was Oklahoma who had a close game against K-State.
Correct.
And they play next weekend. Probably for who represents the Pac-12. And to be fair to everyone's point, I don't even think it even matters. I don't think there is going to be a Big 12 team in the playoffs.
Completely agree. They're out again.
And what Rattler again is a guy that has talent, but he's not showing it a whole lot. There are moments, but I love the name, Rattler. I just love that name. But he's
a rattlesnake.
He's not in the league with the former all the Heisman Trophy winners, I don't think. So,
And I guess the last thing I want to touch on in terms of
College.
speaking of teams, that are in the mix to maybe be represented. We talked about it for the last 2 years, and sure enough, without fail, Pac-12 slips on the conference banana peel.
Once again.
Oregon has a huge win week 2 of the season against Ohio State,
Right.
without some of their key contributors on the road. They just have to stay in the driver's seat, not really slip up. And Stanford.
right.
The way they came back with no time left to send it into overtime and then to win it in overtime. It's
crazy.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
I agree.
they couldn't see the football for the tree.
Oh, wait, whoa,
that's
whoa.
nasty. That's so bad.
We're gonna have to mute your mic on that one, dude. No, we can't have that. No.
Well, let's move to the, I guess, second highest rated game for Sunday Night Football.
Yes.
The Pats.
What
and
did you
the
think? It was a
Bucks.
good game. It was a competitive game.
I thought it was apropos that it be raining hard and Hoodie standing over there wiping his face and going. It was a good game. I got to say, Mac Jones proved something in that game.
Agreed.
I
He
mean,
grew up.
about every other play, they were just, it was a jailbreak coming after him. And other than one time, he managed it. And what said to me that he had made a believer out of the Bucks was they backed off and started playing their regular defense after a while. So it was a good game. I don't think it was a great game. And the Bucks have a lot of problems in their secondary. And so, but yeah.
Richard Sherman showed up and put on a uniform. Richard Sherman off the street.
I know.
Wow.
So
Well, I was going to say that was one of the things I wanted to talk about is the one thing I love about the Patriots. I mean, a lot of good teams do this. The one thing I love about the Patriots, though, is they went after Richard Sherman, and they got a few first downs on Sherman because I think Chris Collinsworth brought up like they were running dig routes against him, and in Seattle, I guess how their defense, the cover 3. Like when a guy runs a dig route, usually once the guy kind of moves in, that's a linebacker. So like Sherman really never had to move in because as good as he's smart and he's very physical, but he never had speed even when he was younger. And obviously he's older now. So they were just running that dig route at him. And like it would either be like Kendrick Bourne or whoever. And like they would run a dig route and they'd always get separation. It'd be easy like pitch and catch for Mac Jones to just help move the ball down the field. They pulled out all the stops. They had like 2 trick plays.
Yep.
Jacoby Myers.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Myers guy, he can throw the ball accurately. That was impressive.
If not for that doink at the end, guys, they win. I mean, it was they're a good team.
I think the thing that was frustrating with me about that is it's raining. It's 56 yards. Before the kick, they're talking about how Nick Foles has an injury problem on his plant foot. Why not go for it on 4th down just to get closer? I understand not trying to score a touchdown, but just get it closer. I mean, you still had a minute left. I know you didn't have any timeouts, but it felt weird they tried to go for a 56-yard field goal.
Yeah.
We all agree? Because I think it was like 4th and 3 that they kicked it on.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I don't Folk or whatever his name is.
Just plain
they
folk.
Said his whatever plant leg, something was wrong or whatever. I mean, it got close. Yeah, if they'd had an extra 3 yards, he would have made that thing.
That's why. I mean, a 56-yard field goal. That's the thing, and I don't think anyone's gonna kill the guy. But like, to be fair to him, like you can't send a guy out there to try to kick a 56-yard field goal when it's in the rain and he's
pouring rain, wet ball, wet field, wet shoes. Go.
It feels like you're just asking for a very small chance of winning. And it just, I don't know. It just felt weird to me considering like what Lubbs was pointing out, like they already had injuries coming in the game. They lost Carlton Davis for the game, right? He went out and then at the end, close to the end of the game during that drive, obviously Antoine Winfield was out. So, starting safety, starting corner. So it felt like they would try to exploit more the the secondary as much as they could. I don't know. I think that's the only thing I really question. I mean, and look, to be fair, they probably even shouldn't have been in that situation. To be fair to Tom Brady, it's like they're down, and he throws what should have been two throws that were touchdown passes to Antonio Brown. One he just couldn't see for whatever reason, and the other one, it would have been a difficult catch, but he's made that catch before. Like, he threw two dime throws at the end of the game that should have sealed it, and they had to settle for a field goal. But I don't know.
Did it live up to the hype? Did it live up to it?
I thought it did. I mean, I liked it. I'm fine with a game being 19-17. I really am. Mm-hmm. I don't want a rock fight 7-3 or 7-6, but 19-17 is a perfectly fine score for me.
Yeah, and considering all the emotion, but I still have to give it to Mac Jones. I mean, that's a rookie playing with the GOAT and holding up under just all kinds of duress.
In his fourth game ever. Yep.
I think the rookies this weekend did okay. Zach Wilson did well. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields did well. Mm-hmm. And I think in San Francisco, they need to just let Garoppolo go open the Italian restaurant or whatever and bring up and just let Trey Lance become the guy.
Garoppolo's are us? What is that?
I will say, kind of, I guess what Lugs is saying, Mac Jones, all the young quarterbacks this weekend definitely had the best weekend. He played the best because they had -1 rushing yards for the game. Mm-hmm. It was all Mac Jones throwing it. Just because it's almost impossible to run on the Bucs. But anyway, Zach Wilson obviously had a good game, albeit Tennessee's defense is just pathetic. I mean, it's just bad. Still, it's impressive what he did. He probably had the second best week. Lawrence, again, going back to the Thursday night game, Lawrence, he did pretty much everything he could for the most part to give them a chance to win that game. He couldn't help it that Joe Burrow caught fire in the second half and turned C.J. Uzomah into Tony Gonzalez. Fields had 3 great deep throws, which is what, if you're a Bears fan, you're tantalized by. Yeah. And he showed a lot of good things. Even his interception was a tip ball at so it's not even really a bad decision. Really, it was just knocked up in the air in terms of a volley. I will say though, the one I will kind of blow back against what Lug said, if you watch kind of Trey Lance, he's very tantalizing. Don't get me wrong. And I still love Trey Lance. Don't get me wrong. Long term. Short term, though,
he's a project.
He couldn't really move the ball. If you look at his stats, they're great, but the Debo Samuels, I think that was a great play design or someone screwed up in the defense. He was wide open and just ran it up the field. He consistently couldn't convert third downs for the most part, Trey Lance. And I think they scored their last touchdown when Seattle was more than content to just give them the touchdown just to eat clock. So I don't know. And also just how messy Seattle's defense has been this year, not to be able to really kind of take advantage of it. I don't know. I don't know where Trey Lance is at this point. I think he's going to be their starter because obviously Garoppolo's injury with his calf seems like it'll be a multi-week injury. So hopefully he'll get better. I mean, obviously I'm rooting for him, but I will say I think there's a reason why he was kind of put in the cobwebs a little bit these last few games and hasn't really played a whole lot. I think they don't really trust him.
Well, let's talk about that other NFC matchup, man. Kyler Murray, my new MVP candidate. The Cardinals slammed the Rams pretty effectively there. And, didn't see that coming. We don't get to see the Cardinals very often, but I love them. What a team.
They're the last undefeated. I was shocked by that. I got to say that how they manhandled them. And we knew Kyler Murray and that offense would be okay. But the defense showed up, and that really makes them a complete team. Now they got to continue to do that, but Kyler Murray. But You know, it's like the Rams didn't look at the videotape.